All right, NFL early bets, early leans, early things to consider for the divisional round of the playoffs. Last week, wild card round was a disaster class out of your boy here. Horrendous. And instead of crying and saying, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be better, I'm going to keep talking ball. That's what I like to do. I like talking early bets. I like talking how these lines move on a Monday. That's what I do. So I'm going to continue to do just that. And I do have a bet that isn't on a side that I really, really like for the divisional round. So hopefully that's why you stick around. We'll get to it when I talk about that game, but let's just start with where we're at right now. This is before Monday Night Football between Minnesota and the LA Rams. So there are look-ahead lines to which team will go to Philadelphia. We can talk about that, but let's just go in chronological order right now. Houston at the Kansas City Chiefs. That line, 7.5, 8, depending on where you're shopping. I'll say off the bat, I like the dog here. I do. And not just the fact that, look, we've watched this Kansas City team this year. It's this black voodoo magic of how they're able to continue to pull off wins. How do they keep getting away with this? But I don't care if they win. I'm looking at Houston to cover here, and I like the way that their defense played against the LA Chargers. Even though I was on the Chargers money line in that game, I made the line 2.753. So I felt I was good on the number there. I got cute and thought that I liked Harbaugh on the road, and that's where I got tripped up. But one of the you'll hear this tossed around a lot this week and this is again goes towards me liking Houston, is Patrick Mahomes as a favorite of 7 or more, regular season or postseason, 22, 32, and 3 ATS. And the reason that is look, they're obviously a good football team, so they lay a lot of big numbers, but they still win and cover, or they still win and don't cover a lot of the times because this Kansas City team is one of the best at taking the air out of the ball in the fourth quarter when they need to. That has become one of the, greatest qualities of this Chiefs team. So I feel like as a Houston backer, you got +8 and Kansas City's up 7 with 7 minutes left. That's like the best thing you could possibly have because they're just going to roll that thing down and they might not even kick the field goal. That's kind of been Kansas City's MO. So, and I also do make the number closer. I make it closer to 7. So I'm going to be on Houston here. And if I have kind of convinced you on Houston, you're still a little trepidatious about it, I would say you take Houston +8 and then you tease Kansas City down from 8 to 2 with another pair. And one of those pairs could be the other Saturday game, the Detroit Lions hosting the Washington Commanders. This line 8.5 pretty much across the board. It opened 10. I would have loved a Washington 10. I don't know how I missed that. I had all the books open the second that the Washington game ended. Maybe it was look-aheads that people had. I don't know how I missed it. For some reason, I think it's okay to have a life outside of just waiting for lines to drop in the playoffs. So I missed it, but I am still leaning with Washington 8.5 here. I can't look, and I've been the worst with the Lions. I really have. I have the worst feel for them. This team is like an ATS juggernaut for over the last 3 years. I get in front of the wrong side of the train over and over again. So probably my Lions take is invalid. So, for how I do think they're a good football team. I think, I bet in the number, not the team. But there is a bet I love in this game. Okay. Commanders, Lions, total punts in the game, 6.5. I like under 6.5 total punts, -150. We all know Detroit, they're allergic to punting. But how about Washington? All right. 2.8 punts per game. That ranks 29th in the NFL. Obviously, the Lions rank 32nd, 2.6 punts per game. And what Dan Quinn showed me in that game against Tampa Bay, them going for it, I know it was more in field goal range, but him saying over and over again, basically, I know we're a road dog in the playoffs. We got to go for it. We can't settle for 3. We can't we're not getting field position, and punts aren't going to matter against Dan Campbell's Lions. I think Dan Quinn knows that. I think that Washington is going to be able to move the ball. And that to me, under 6.5 punts, -150. It's the biggest bet I've made of the playoffs so far. So that's my favorite. So, if you're saying, Tim, tough wild card week with your spread picks, that's one I like. I'll go here to Baltimore and the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Bills opened as a favorite, and now the Bills opened as a 1.5 point, 2 point favorite, and now Baltimore is a favorite of about 1.5, depending on where you're shopping. I did grab Baltimore plus 1.5 at the opener, and this is kind of the tough thing with this game. I think a lot of people, and my power ratings, I have Buffalo being better than the Ravens on a neutral field. And I think the bookmakers are just not my model or whatever, a similar view in that the Bills are ranked so highly because they have, two of the best wins this season, which were against Detroit and against Kansas City. That, to my rankings, put a lot of weight on big wins like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. But on the flip side, this Ravens team, a lot of the advanced numbers say that this Baltimore team is the best 5-loss team in NFL history. You look at DVOA, I think they pretty much are better than Buffalo in almost every single category when you go DVOA. So, and this has gone into a lot of the MVP talk as well, which you can do on your own time. Couldn't care less for MVP talk, but this is like we talk about like sharp square, pro Joe. This is like advanced numbers versus record and having big wins. And I'm normally a guy, again, my numbers lean more towards a Buffalo with that, giving credence to those big wins. But I am going to go with what the advanced numbers are saying, and that this Baltimore team is still better than Buffalo. So going against my number because I'm aware of it, I guess, is where I'm getting at. So I actually still like Baltimore if you just want to take them on the money line. If you really want something on this game, I know that a lot of people would say you missed your value. I'm fine with if you really want something to the game, I'm fine taking Baltimore money line at this point. As for looking ahead to whoever the Eagles will host, one of the look aheads I saw was against Minnesota, the Eagles would be -3.5, and against the Rams, the Eagles would be -6.5. I don't quite have a feel. I think I'm leaning with the dog either way because I didn't love how Philly looked against Green Bay, and I still think there's something up with A.J. Brown, not really the book thing, but I think he's still hobbled a little bit, and Smith too. Kind of not talked about was those guys last week were in and out of the injury report in terms of limited participant, full participant. I think that there could be something still lingering on both of those guys. And even though it'll be a short week, which I don't love, I feel kind of fine about playing both dogs, but I'll have to dive into it more. The only thing I'll say is this: if you're interested in playing Minnesota or the Ram or whatever side, I'll say this. Here's what I think is going to happen. Whoever wins the Minnesota and LA Rams game, it's a win means that team is in good form. They're playing well, right? They just got a playoff win. I think the line versus Philly shrinks no matter who wins the game because it'll be the most recent thing people saw on Monday night, and they will be, okay, I was a little concerned about the Vikings after they lost to Detroit. Boom, they go beat the Rams. Now I'm okay with betting them. They go bet them against Philadelphia. Or the same thing with the Rams. I didn't know how good the Rams were. Oh my God, they just beat Minnesota. Now I'm going to go bet them against Philadelphia. So just, even if you see this after Monday night, I'm just telling you, unless there's a big injury, I totally believe that's going to happen. So if you're going to bet Philly, I'd actually wait till after the Monday night game. I really would. So, that's how I feel about those. Like I said, I'm going to run down. I like betting all the games on divisional round. What do I care? What rules do I have to follow? I like Houston. I like Washington. I like Baltimore. And I'll probably like whoever wins in the Minnesota-LA Rams game. And like I said, my favorite bet of the weekend of the playoffs will be under 6.5 total punts in the Washington-Detroit game. Enjoy your wild card weekend. Enjoy your wild card weekend. Enjoy your divisional round weekend. Sorry, I'm looking at NHL openers here. I got to go hit those. So enjoy, everyone. I'll see you back here for conference championship weekend.